Hi my beauties, welcome back to Younger. Today I'm going to talk to you about layering your skincare products like a dermatologist. The benefit out of all your skincare products and the active ingredients within them, why these active ingredients have to be layered in a certain way, and why that's important. So I also want to tell you, don't get hung up on every little detail, because if we're talking about multiple active ingredients, I don't want you guys to think that you have to have each one of these active ingredients in your skincare regimen, but just when you do have a certain active ingredient on board, where to kind of pepper that into your layering of your products. So when we talk about the skin and the biology of the skin and how certain topical formulations, serums, growth factors, AHAs, BHAs, retinols, retinoids, retinoic acid, growth factors, all these things, the way that they penetrate through the skin, through the multiple layers of the epidermis, has to do a lot with the physiology of the skin, and that may be different in each depth of each layer of the skin. And so different molecular interactions that take place, different enzymatic profiles of different areas of the skin. You're talking about the pH, you're talking about the water content, you're talking about the oil and sebum content. So it's important to understand how these active ingredients get through the skin and what can affect their absorption or what can inhibit their activation. So when talking about the skin and how these active ingredients can affect the skin, you think about things like pH. You think about things like hydrophilic nature versus hydrophobic nature. This is how they talk to us in medical school, and this is how doctors converse with one another. Hydrophobic means something that is afraid of water. So hydro, water, phobic, afraid of. So something that would be on the more oily content would be hydrophobic. Something that is more water soluble or loves water would be hydrophilic. Hydro, water, philic, with an affinity to, or the love of. So that's kind of how we talk about the skin biology and how we talk about biochemistry in medicine and in science. We talk about terms of pH and water solubility and inactivation and activation of enzymes and upregulation of protein. About different products, so there's a certain order that you have to go into, but there's also other times when different skincare products don't really have to be mixed a certain way or in a certain order. So don't get hung up on that either, but I'm just going to kind of give you the basics and the physiology behind it so you can kind of have an understanding to where you won't even have to think about how you're layering your products. So be like, okay, the acids go first, and then the retinol, and then the growth factors, and then the peptides. I don't want you to have to think about that too much. I want you to be able to have the basic understanding, like wash, scrub, oil control, you know, acids go on first and then put on your retin-a at night, and why that happens and why you want to put the medications and serums on first and then put the makeup and sunscreen on after. So just why that happens and why that works, and just kind of understanding why we do it in a certain order. You won't really have to think about it. It will just make sense. And that's easier than trying to memorize like a certain pattern. So just starting with the basics, and again, don't get hung up on every word I say, but starting with the basics, it's important to cleanse your skin twice a day. So I don't believe in double cleansing, and science has shown us that double cleansing, meaning using micellar water or some type of oil to get rid of your makeup first and then cleansing, is necessary. If you want to do it, it won't hurt you, and if you feel that that gives your skin a better cleanse and your skin feels cleaner after that, that's totally fine, because even if you use the micellar water, which I'm not the biggest fan of, you're going to wash it right afterwards with cleanser anyway. So always using a cleanser twice a day to remove all the dirt, oil, makeup, and debris is really imperative. It's really important because if you don't cleanse your face and you just put serums or creams on, it's not really going to penetrate through the skin, because you're going to have this layer of dead skin cells, of makeup, of dirt, oil, and all this other debris that's going to not allow the serums or the active ingredients to penetrate into the skin. So I always say cleanse twice a day no matter what. Now, gentle cleansers or cleansers with little exfoliating beads in them are fine, but you never want to use like a hard soap. I hope that if you're subscribing to my YouTube channel, you're not somebody who's using a hard soap in the first place. But just to kind of go off on a tangent, the reason why hard soaps are bad, why you want to use liquid cleansers, is because they solidify once they're on the skin. It can clog the pores and cause blackheads. So you always want to use, and that's even the same for the body, use cleansers that are gel or liquid cleansers that you can kind of lather up, and don't use bar soaps for goodness sakes, hopefully don't use bar soaps. But anyway, so use your cleanser twice a day. I always use an exfoliator, usually an exfoliating polish, like to just do it in the shower where you can wash it off. So cleanser first, then your exfoliator, and then after that you dry your face off, and it doesn't have to be totally bone dry, but you just dry your face off gently with a towel, and then use some type of toner. I love the Zeo Skin Health Complexion Renewal Pads, but these have a little bit of glycolic acid, salicylic acid, I think a little bit of TCA in it as well, but at very low levels, and it just kind of deep cleans out the pores. It just kind of double cleanses to get the dirt, oil, makeup that may be left behind from your cleanser totally off your skin, and it also decreases the thickness of the stratum corneum, which is the dead skin cell layer on the top of the skin, which is going to stimulate the lower, more baby stem cells at the lower level, the stratum basal of the skin, to kind of replicate faster and increase cellular renewal and cellular growth, which is going to increase the cell cycle and just kind of get your skin to refresh itself. It's like pushing refresh on your computer screen. It's going to stimulate your body to regenerate those stem cells and those baby skin cells faster, to kind of be out with the old and within you kind of situation. So cleanser, then your exfoliating polish or scrub, then you dry your face, and then you're going to use your toner. You can also use toners that come in a bottle and you put it on a cotton swab or a cotton around it and just swab it over your face. Then you allow that to dry. Usually it only takes like 30 to 60 seconds. You don't have to wait like 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I always feel so bad for patients who think that they have to set a timer on their phone and then go back to their skincare regimen. It shouldn't take you that long. And trust me, I layer probably, I don't know, 6 to 7 different products on my skin morning and night, and I usually do it within like 5 to 6 minutes. So anyway, so moving on. So after you have your skin clean, and that's after using your cleanser, your exfoliating scrub, and your toner, then comes the layering of the products. And this is when the active ingredients come into play. And so everything up before this point we call getting skin ready, because it's getting skin ready for the products to come. And without those steps, you're not going to have the maximum effect of your active ingredients if your skin's not ready. If there's a dead skin cell layer with a bunch of debris on it as a barrier and making it not able to penetrate through the skin, then that's not doing you any good. So usually the first active ingredient that we like to put on the skin are any acids. So usually the alpha hydroxy acids, whether it's glycolic acid, salicylic acid. Vitamin C is actually considered ascorbic acid, and it's an antioxidant, but I always put my vitamin C on first, or like my glycolic acid first, because as I always say, vitamin C is a very unstable molecule. It's water soluble, and your skin needs to be pretty pristine and perfect for it to penetrate through the skin and to remain active. Most formulations of vitamin C, 95% of the active ingredients not even active by the time it passes through the epidermis into the papillary dermis, because it's inactivated, because it's a very highly water soluble molecule and it can get inactivated very easily. So I usually put on my vitamin C first. If you're going to use a glycolic acid, I put that on second. All your AHAs and BHAs come into the skin first. And so that's your first layer, and that's usually the lighter layer also. Usually growth factors and peptides usually go hand in hand. You can mix them together, and that goes on second. Sometimes people just use growth factors at night, and that's fine, but if you want to use them during the day and night, then that's okay too. So you use your growth factors usually second. And growth factors in conjunction with peptides, usually companies like SkinMedica, for example, has their TNS Essential Serum. I really like that serum because growth factors increase the signaling communication to one another to increase cellular renewal, to repair damaged DNA in the skin, to reverse photo damage, and to prevent further damage from happening down the line. It also increases overall skin health and the keratinocyte, which are the skin cells, communication with one another. When the cells are communicating, saying, hey, we need to bind up more water. Hey, you need to synthesize and remodel more collagen. Hey, we need more elastin. And so that's how these skin cells kind of talk to each other. And by adding peptides and growth factors, it just augments that cellular process, which overall improves your skin health. So peptides, the way peptides works, and I know I posted this in an earlier video too, is that when collagen gets broken down, peptides are released, and that signals the cells to make more collagen. And everybody wants more collagen. We all want remodeling and resynthesis and generation of more collagen, because that's what gives skin a smooth, tight, firm texture. So we always want the growth factors and the peptides to be layered, usually after the acids or the vitamin C formulation. So that's second. Now third, if you want to put on a retinol, that's fine too. Retinol is okay to wear in the morning and throughout the day. It does not get inactivated by sunlight, unlike tretinoin or retin-a, which can get inactivated during sunlight. That's why we have you use it at bedtime and at nighttime. But retinol you can use during the day and it won't get broken down in the sun, and usually I put that on third. And so let me make sure that I'm not forgetting something. Hold on. So we've done the acids, we've done the growth factors and peptides, and let's see what we have next. Okay, so then you're gonna put on your humectants afterwards. So usually your ceramides, your glycosaminoglycans, your AHAs, your GAGs, all of those humectants that are going to bind and absorb water and hydrate the skin. They're going to kind of form a protective barrier on the skin to minimize transepidermal water loss, where you have evaporation of water from the skin. These humectants keep the skin hydrated. Ceramides, hyaluronic acid like HA5 by Skin Medica, or Restoricom by Zeo Skin Health, or elastin nectar, or the restorative complex. So you're going to want to put these on next, and then after that, then you can put on your sunscreen. Now you don't really have to wait. Sometimes people think that they have to wait 1 minute in between layering each product. A lot of these products are engineered to work synergistically. The only one that I say is an exception is vitamin C. When you put your vitamin C on, just kind of wait maybe a minute. Like I usually put on my vitamin C and then I do my lashes or my brows, and then I put on the rest of my products. So it's okay to mix. Usually the other ones just kind of layer them on top of each other. They're going to augment one another. They're going to work synergistically, and you don't have to wait for each individual layer to dry. So then after your humectants go on, then you can go ahead and put on your sunscreen and then your makeup. So I always tell patients, even if you're using some type of medication, whether it's for acne, rosacea, seborrheic dermatitis, whatever it is, you always put that on the skin first. Same with active ingredients, whether it's your acids, your peptides, your growth factors, your retinol. You want that on the skin first, and then you're going to put your moisturizer, which we like to use the word hydrators because moisturizers usually have the tendency to have oils in them, and we want hydrators like humectants that are going to allow your skin to hold on to water, not oil. Hydration of the skin has to do with the water status, not oil. So you go ahead and you layer the sunscreen on top of that, and then you can let it dry and then put on your makeup after. So you're not going to put your makeup on first and then put your sunscreen on over. That doesn't make sense. You'd be surprised. So many patients come in and say, well, should I put on my makeup and then put my sunscreen over it? No. Sunscreen goes on first after the active ingredients, and then makeup goes on after it. So then when you're going to your nighttime routine, certain things you can kind of follow that same order that I just illustrated for you, or we just discussed. But then at nighttime, the other things that you're going to add on are like a retin-a or a tretinoin. So I always mix retin-a or your tretinoin, you know, say it's a 0.05%, a 0.1% gel, microgel, cream, alcohol-based, you know, vehicle, whatever type of retin-a you use. I usually mix it 1-to-1, like a pea-sized amount of my retin-a with 1-to-1 of some type of hydrator. Again, HA5 by Skin Medica, elastin skin nectar, Restoricom by Zeo Skin Health, Recovery Complex by Zeo, whatever hydrator you like, you mix it 1-to-1, and it won't decrease the efficacy of the retin-a, and it'll allow the retin-a to be distributed evenly over the face, just easier without having that as much irritation. And so you always put your retin-a on last. So for example, at night, you're going to do your cleanser again. You'll probably skip your exfoliating scrub because you did that in the morning, or if you don't do it in the morning, then you'll do it at night. Then you let your face dry. Then you're going to use your toner pads. Then you're going to let it dry for 30 seconds or so. Then if you want to put on your acids at night, usually I use vitamin C in the morning, but if you want to use it at night, then you're going to put on your acids. You're going to put on your growth factors and your peptides. You're going to put on your usually not your retinol at night if you're going to be using a retin-a. And then your hydroquinone if you're using some type of lightening agent, I do that next. And then you put on your retin-a last. Now it doesn't have to be a bone dry face. I've also had some patients have some old school information where they have to let their face dry for like 10 minutes before they put on their retin-a. That's so old school. We didn't even learn that in medical school. It was already like old news by then. So they've done extensive research studies and data has showed us that you don't have to have a bone dry face for retin-a to absorb or work better. Sometimes there is some questionable irritation if you put retin-a onto wet skin. Now, I don't want your skin to be wet, but you're gonna probably have had other layered products on top of it. If you want to put your retin-a right on top of that, that's totally fine. And so put the retin-a on last. Then I usually do my eye creams, and then you go to bed. So hopefully this layering of products will make some sense to you. But again, it has to do with the pH, the water solubility, and the activation and inactivation of enzymes, upregulation or downregulation of different enzymes based on the products that are in the environment once another active ingredient comes into play. So that's my order that I usually recommend as a dermatologist. And I think the most important things to know are that hydroquinones or lightening agents kind of go on towards the end. Retin-a goes on at nighttime, retinol goes on during the daytime, and make sure that you put your acids and vitamin C's on first. And if you forget everything that I've just listed for you, just kind of start with going with the lighter active ingredients first and kind of layer them on as they get heavier and heavier. So like your acids, your growth factors, your peptides, your retinol, your humectants, your sunscreen, and then your makeup. So I hope this makes sense, you guys. I'll try to get to as many comments as I can, and thank you for asking questions, and thank you for being so passionate about skincare just as much as I am.